We need to talk about Alam Khan, the man who planned his revenge against his father's killer for 12 years and then actually did it. So here's what happened. Alam was 12 years old when he witnessed the murder of his father at the hands of a family friend, Mohammed Reis. Then at 24, he confessed to Mohammed to death before separating his body into 12 pieces, one piece for each year since his father's passing. Alam says he's been planning this revenge the entire time, until he finally invited Mohammed over for a drink. And once Mohammed was under the influence, Alam used a hammer and a hacksaw. He then threw the different parts into plastic bags and dumped them in the river. Then when those bags washed up onto the shore, police identified Mohammed from a surgery scar on his torso. Alam was then arrested and fully confessed, saying he played loud music as he separated Mohammed into 12 pieces, and he never told anyone the identity of his father's killer, and instead decided to wait 12 years to realize his dream of revenge. Police said Alam showed an utter lack of remorse, and he said that he's happy now that it's done.
Normal looking photos that have a disturbing backstory. The girl in this photo was arrested for torturing and killing animals. She filmed herself doing it and even posted it online. She hanged her dogs by their collars, nailed them to walls, and even shot them with an airsoft gun. She would then cut them open and rip out their internal organs. This sweet-looking little girl is Jeannie, also known as the Wild Child, who spent the first 13 years of her life chained to a chair, and this photo was taken moments after she'd just been rescued. This normal-looking scenic painting features the ocean with the night sky. However, it was painted by Adolf Hitler, whose dream in life was to become an artist. However, he failed the entrance exam to art school and ultimately gave up. This photo of Richard Hickok and Perry Smith shows two murders after hearing that they've been sentenced to death. They murdered a family of 4 and planned to rob them, but they found nothing worth stealing except for a mere $50. The girl on the left is wearing a wire. The girl on the right has no idea. Together they stabbed one of their friends to death, and the girl on the left confessed to the police and is now cooperating with them. Besides the pixelation, this looks like a couple getting married surrounded by their loved ones. However, all the children in this photo were horribly physically and mentally abused until a couple of them managed to escape.
An Australian man who sent 23 satchels of feces and urine to Leonardo DiCaprio and Jared Leto has appeared in court. Veronica Gray from Western Australia was alleged to have sent frozen packages to the actors, detailed as Valentine confectionery. The international parcels were sent in February and were only discovered when one of them ruptured and leaked on an Australia Post worker. The man pleaded guilty to 5 charges of using a postal service to menace, harass, or cause offence, which the prosecutor said carries a maximum of 12 months jail, a $16,000 fine, or both, but Gray was given a $3,000 good behaviour bond. A psychiatric report stated Gray had acted on the idea without considering the consequences due to a mental impairment. His lawyer said Gray shares the same passion for the environment as the actors and intended to magnetise them to Australia. The court ultimately ruled it wasn't motivated by malice, but that a penalty was needed for general deterrence of male offences.
Everyone should know about what has happened to Lauren Heike. Lauren was a 29-year-old esthetician and was hiking near her home in North Phoenix. 24 hours later, she was found murdered off a trail west of Scottsdale Road and Mayo Boulevard. Almost immediately, authorities released this footage of a suspect running from the area. This person has since been identified as 22-year-old Zion Teasley. He was arrested at the Scottsdale home he shared with his mother, less than a mile from the scene. We now know that Lauren was followed and then chased down the Route 11 trail before being viciously attacked from behind. She suffered 15 stab wounds to the back and chest, but tried her hardest to put up a fight, with defensive wounds to her arms and her hands. Tragically, investigators believe that she eventually escaped, but her injuries were too severe to keep going. On the trail, police have found Lauren's belongings scattered, presumably dropped as she was running for her life. Her clothing suggested that at one point the chase went through a barbed wire fence, and it was actually DNA in her shoe that led to Zion's arrest. When police submitted this DNA sample, Zion's name came up in court records. Detectives then went to his former workplace, where his ex-coworkers recognized his clothing as merchandise that had been stolen from the store. They said he'd recently been fired for being aggressive towards female employees. Zion has since admitted to detectives that, like Lauren, he frequented the area. He identified himself as the man in the footage, and when shown a picture of Lauren, said that he, quote, wanted to look like her. He also reportedly spoke about growing up as a Christian, struggling with his sexuality, and how he hadn't been with anyone in a while. Finally, we know that in 2020, Zion was charged with robbery, kidnapping, and disorderly conduct, but was listed as a medium-low risk to reoffend and got a plea deal. He was released in November of 2022 and actually met with his probation officer after the murder. Interestingly, his mother works for a local county's probation department. So as of today, Zion is listed as a flight risk with a bail set at $1 million. Obviously, this is nothing short of terrifying, and it's a case that young women everywhere need to be aware of.
Imagine your best friend sleeping with your 6-year-old daughter, and that's not even the worst part of it. He films it and keeps it in his phone. This is one story that will live in your head rent-free, haunting and frankly disturbing. So this story happened in Russia in September of 2021, and it's about two friends, 32-year-old Oleg and 34-year-old Vyacheslav, who they say have been best friends for a very long time. Vyacheslav was married with kids. He and his wife had about 2 children at the time. And so every once in a while, maybe when either of them are busy or when both of them were busy, Vyacheslav would leave his children in the hands of his best friend Oleg to babysit till either he or his wife returns from work. And also for the fact that to the kids, Uncle Oleg was an uncle. He was pretty much family. Little did they know that something was wrong with Uncle Oleg. The whole story unfolded from August of 2021. And it so happened that one day while the two friends were hanging out in a bar, Vyacheslav picked Oleg's phone just to go through it for fun. And that was when he stumbled upon a video that looked off. He clicked on the video and saw his friend, 32-year-old man, sexually assaulting his 6-year-old daughter. And that set him off. It was said that he confronted Oleg, and immediately Oleg ran away because at this point his cover has blown. Not only was he molesting his best friend's daughter, there were videos of him molesting about 7 other children in his phone multiple times. Click the link on our bio to get 820,000 Naira bonus with 150 free spins to win exciting prizes using our promo code TCD to register.
Breaking news, teen mom's son Janelle has been missing for 3 days after climbing out of his bedroom window. Law enforcement was called to Janelle's home on Thursday around 8 p.m. Janelle told officers that Jay snuck out of his bedroom window and did not have his cell phone with him. Authorities say as of today, October 1st, Sunday, Jace is still missing. Authorities have now added him to the nationwide database for missing persons. This is not Jace's first time disappearing. He has done this twice in the past few months. One of the 2 previous times, Jace went missing from his school but was found a short time later, and he also disappeared a second time from the home but was found a short time later. If you haven't heard of any of these cases, you can click the playlist below. I'll keep you guys updated. What do you think? Drop in the comments.
Creepiest things kids have ever said. A woman drove past a cemetery with her 3-year-old daughter. Now they would drive past it every day. 3-year-old would tell her mom that people in there were waving at her. This would go on for a while until they decided to stop driving past the cemetery forever. This is because the daughter mentioned that there was an old lady wanting her to come in there. An aunt asked her niece to draw her imaginary friend for her. And this is what she drew. A humanoid figure with about 10 legs and their head detached. A little girl was playing in the McDonald's playhouse by herself and alone. The mother took this picture of her in the tunnel. To their surprise, in the photo, they saw another child. But mind you, she was playing in there alone. When they asked their daughter who it was, she said, "That's my imaginary friend, Beto." A little boy told his dad he had an imaginary friend. He called him the Hanging Man and said he would visit him in his room every night. And even drew a picture of him for his dad. So the dad hid a camera in the child's room to see what he was talking about and caught this. Check this out.
Hey Eliza, do you remember the day you were born?
No, but I remember the earth would open and I crawled out of hell.
Do they have a return policy on children? Because I think she needs one. Speaking of birth, there is a 1 in 365 chance of you meeting someone with your exact birthday. Put your birthday down below to see if you can find your twin. Make sure to hit that follow button because part 2 is crazy.
This woman allegedly shot her husband when he asked for a divorce. Christina Pasqualetto from Arizona had apparently been trying to save her marriage. It may be a little bit more difficult now. On the 20th of September, the 62-year-old woman allegedly drove to the home that she shared with her estranged husband, John. She reportedly drove around about midnight and the pair got into an argument over their marriage. John told her that he wanted a divorce, whereas she did not. At this point, John said that he was in bed and Christina allegedly pulled out a weapon and shot him. The 80-year-old was able to defend himself and knock her down so that the gun fell out of her hand. He was luckily then able to flee round to the neighbour's house and get them to call the police. Police raced round and found John with a gunshot wound to his wrist. He was taken to a local hospital for treatment. Now, John alleges that he changed the locks of the house before the incident but had noticed items from the house going missing. John accuses Christina of forging a cheque from him for $10,000. She has admitted to forgery and theft. She has been charged for this and also for attempted first-degree murder and aggravated assault.
You know they found this girl, right?
Where?
In our neighborhood. Down our main street.
Is she good?
No, she's dead. That's why this is very important. It's all on you right now.
What is my problem?
You were
You
the
were
last
the
one
last
with
one
her.
seen with her. So right now, it's facing you right now, son.
This is Aiden Fucci, a 14-year-old boy from Florida, being questioned by his parents at a police station in 2021. Aiden is being held and questioned under suspicion of murdering his 13-year-old classmate, Tristan Bailey, something he insists he had no part in. But to understand how police came to suspect Aiden was capable of murder, we must go back to the beginning. In the quiet town of St. John,
Mom, can you just pass my drink that's on the table, please? Thanks.
Hey, sir, I'm gonna move your cuffs to the front, all right?
Yeah. Can you stand on one leg by yourself? Are you sure you're okay?
All right. This is what's gonna happen, all right? I'm gonna take your left hand out, put it on top of your head for me. That's it, we're gonna move them on top. Right in front.
Yeah, just have a seat, man. Go ahead and have a seat. You're good. You're good. There you go. Okay.
There you go, sir.
Would you like any water or anything like that? No? Okay. It's all right. We need you to breathe for us, all right? Because if you're hyperventilating, if you can just breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Do it with me, ready? Just.
This man faked his own death to avoid child R charges. 41-year-old Melvin MD was due to appear in court the day he conveniently went missing back in August. He had apparently been out kayaking and his son reported he'd gone overboard. It was believed that he may have drowned in the Mississippi River 30 miles west of New Orleans. However, he's recently been found alive and has been arrested. It was obviously an immediate red flag to police when they were investigating the missing person and found that he was actually due in court on R charges. These were charges of indecent liberties with a child and statutory R of a child. They obviously didn't publicly state their suspicions as they didn't want to tip him off. Investigators soon learned that due to him being out on bail, he was actually wearing an ankle tag. This allowed detectives to find out locations that the man had stopped at. On the 17th of September, a vehicle in Georgia was stopped that didn't have a number plate. The driver actually tried to flee and then crashed the car and was taken into custody. After giving a fake name, he was fingerprinted and it was revealed that he was the supposedly deceased man. Melvin is currently being held in jail awaiting trial.
Imagine finding out that the pastor from your church did this. On August 1975, 8-year-old Gretchen Harrington was walking to Bible study in Pennsylvania, but she never made it. Gretchen's father became extremely worried when she was nowhere to be found. And that's when Pastor David Zantra called police to report Gretchen missing. When investigators interviewed the pastor, he was providing details of what Gretchen was wearing that day, even though she never made it to the church. So how did he know? The pastor denied knowing anything about Gretchen's disappearance, and 2 months later, her skeletal remains were found at a nearby creek. Gretchen's cause of death was blunt force trauma to the head. But 50 years later, on January of this year,
police interviewed a woman who was friends with the pastor's daughter in the 70s and discovered something from her diary entry around that time. The little girl at the time explains in her diary that the pastor used to touch her when she slept over his daughter's house. The pastor, who's now 83 years old, moved to Georgia after Gretchen's murder, and when police came to arrest him, he admitted to everything. He said that on that morning of 1975, he saw Gretchen walking to Bible study, so he offered to give her a ride, but instead of taking her to the church, he took her to a wooded area and told her to take off her clothes, and when she said no, that's when he took her life.
Oh yeah, there you go. There you go, look at him. Just a silly man. It's good, bro. This my plug, bro. No, bro. I'm the one who just brought you that DoorDash food. I just DoorDashed you that. You just remember a couple minutes ago. So I'm driving, bro, and just you canceled the order, bro. I'm trying to figure out why you canceled it, saying you didn't get it, and you sitting here eating it. Oh man, and you coming at me way too incorrect, bro. You drink, bro. What you supposed to have? I had a Sprite. I don't even drink one soda. Okay, but that's up with McDonald's, and you gonna just keep eating it. That's up with McDonald's. McDonald's messed up your order, not me. Bro, you supposed to check it, bro. You supposed to check it. Am I right or wrong? No, but I'm just saying. But why? Okay, you're right. So let's say if I mess it up, why you just didn't? I could have came back. You could have, you know what I'm saying? Wrote it in the notes. I could have got you or something. Come on, bro. I'm on my lunch break and everything. No, bro, because people always pull this shit on me, bro. Like, y'all understand, bro? This is happening in my money, my living, bro. When y'all do shit like this, y'all can get me banned from the account. That got nothing to do with me, bro. What you mean got nothing to do with you, bro? So you just gonna sit here and lie and just you gonna sit and you eating the food, bro? I don't give a bro. It don't matter, bro. This ain't what I ordered though. So hey, you talking about establishment, bro? We finna close up. I'm on my lunch break, bro. Listen, so you can't like go back into there and just say you got it, bro. No, yeah, bro. You gotta check that. Listen, I ain't gonna lie to you, boy. You gotta check that. Whoever DoorDash, all that shit, you gotta check that up. What you mean? So that's how you gonna do it, bro? You coming up to my job, bro. That's how you gonna do me as a boss. I'm trying to enjoy my shit, bro. And you coming up to my job, bro. That's how you gonna do me, bro. Come on, bro.
This innocent school teacher got brutally murdered on camera. The video that I'm about to explain to you is about a minute long and apparently was released in 2020. There is little to no backstory about this video, but it is believed that the victim in the video is a school teacher, and the murder was most likely committed because of ethnic hatred or extreme politics. As the video begins, you see a woman wearing a pink shirt and a green dress, and is blindfolded kneeling on the floor with her hands tied behind her back. The video is shot at night in some secluded area, and you hear crickets chirping, which makes this even more eerie. 3 men carrying knives then surround the woman, and the one man pulls her head back by her hair. As they all press her aggressively, she begins to whimper and beg for her life. But the man behind her who is grabbing her hair then places a small knife under her neck and begins to cut back and forth. The poor victim struggles before letting out an ear-piercing scream which literally echoes through the night. She tries to tuck her chin down to her chest to protect her throat, but another man then begins stabbing her in the stomach with a knife, and again the victim lets out an echoing scream as she rolls over trying to protect herself. But the men overpower her and roll her back over as the one man continues cutting her throat, as the other is disturbingly stabbing her stomach and chest. The poor victim continuously screams until the man cutting her throat cuts deep enough to sever her vocal cords. The screams then suddenly stop, but she is still moving and struggling. And after some more stabbing, she stops moving. 2 other men then enter the screen, and the man who is stabbing her then places the tip of the blade into her chest, lining it up perfectly with her heart. He then takes his palm and begins hammering the knife into the victim's heart. He then hands the knife to another man who does the same exact thing, all while the other man is still slicing her throat. And at this point we could assume that the poor victim is indeed dead, and the video then concludes. I recommend nobody go searching for this video ever, because it seriously is one of the most disturbing things I've ever watched. I really hope these killers get what they deserve, because this is absolutely sickening. I feel so awful for this poor girl, and may she rest in peace.
The most terrifying prisoners of all time. Known as one of Australia's most dangerous and violent female prisoners, this is Rebecca Butterfield. She was initially sent to Silverwater Prison for stabbing her neighbor, and that is where things got worse. Way worse. She has cut her own throat, bashed her head against a wall 105 times, and stabbed her friend, who was also a fellow inmate, 33 times with a carving knife. The prison murder landed her another 12 years, and another 5 was added on as she was deemed too dangerous for society. During one violent episode, she said, "If I get out, I will kill again." Butterfield has attacked prison nurses and doctors, throwing boiling tea and water on guards and other inmates, and even lunged towards guards, saying she was trying to take their guns. As of January 2021, she is to remain behind bars until 2023.
Here's a list of the upcoming horror movies releasing in chronological order till the end of the year. Up first is The Elevator Game, releasing August 11th. This movie is based off of the urban legend to where you go to different floors and end up in a different universe, or a more or less different timeline, and things get absolutely insane. The movie comes out in 2 days, and I'm very excited to see it. Jumping forward, we have The Nun 2, releasing September 8th. Now I know, a lot of people weren't very happy with the first Nun, but trust me, in Chris we trust. I love the Conjuring series and the franchise, and I guarantee you that this movie is going to be insane. Mark my words. Jumping a few weeks later, we have Saw X, probably my most sought after movie for this year, releasing September 29th. And trust me when I say, this movie is going to be insane. I can pretty much guarantee one thing. These traps are going to be the craziest we've ever seen. Jumping a few more weeks, we have Exorcist Believer, set to release on October 13th. I personally don't think it's going to be as good as the first one, but having 2 children be possessed by the same demon, mind-blowing. Then the film that everyone is excited for, the 3-hour-long PG-13 Five Nights at Freddy's. Now, 3 hours is a little bit long for me. I am going to see it, trust me, because I was a Five Nights at Freddy's kid. But it is a little long. The movie's dropping October 27th. Comment down below what movie you're most excited to see this year, and follow for more.
Hey you guys, so there's some more information on the missing 9-year-old Charlotte who was camping out with her family and friends, and she went for a bike ride and never came back. Here's a press conference and what they had to say. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments, and if you guys can do me a huge favor and share this, because the first 48 hours are crucial. I want to make sure we get her face out there, so if anybody sees her, they immediately call 911.
So, it's a very hard time for her family. I'll go through the circumstances of her disappearance, and we'll have representation from law enforcement talk about the search. Charlotte was camping with her family here in Moreau State Park. Last evening, she went out on a bike ride. It wasn't dark. It was right around dinner time, and did a couple of loops with close friends she considers her cousins. And then she decided, after going around Troop A, she said she just wanted to go around one more time by herself. Be that big girl, do it by herself. Literally 15 minutes later, she hadn't come back yet. And that's really when the nightmare begins. Her parents knew immediately something was up. They called her name. People started searching. People from other campgrounds joined. And 30 minutes later, at 6:47, Charlotte's mother, Tricia, called 911. The scene was chaotic. People leaving their food, leaving their tables, just everyone in search, calling the name Charlotte. Charlotte. By 7 p.m., the state police were on site. And for the last 18 hours, 18 plus hours, teams from the New York State Police, dogs, aviation, our bloodhounds are here. The sword operators, our special response teams are on site. New York State Park Police, forest rangers, underwater rescue teams, and drones. We brought in technology experts also to analyze other forms of communications in the park at that time. A command post has been established at the state park right behind us, and additional search teams were deployed this morning. Right now there's over 100 personnel deployed, 75 law enforcement on the ground, the 2 drones, an airboat, search team, 6 underwater rescue teams, another boat that has sonar. We also have the Schenectady Fire Office here assisting with the search, given that Charlene is the niece of one of the members of the Schenectady Fire Department. We are leaving no stone, no branch, no table, no cabin unturned, untouched, unexamined in our search to find Charlotte. We'll keep the members of the public updated. I promised her parents we'll find her daughter. She's all of our daughters. Their family needs love. They need prayers. And if you know anything, if you've seen anything, you hear anything, please contact 911.